Restoration and the antiques business go hand in hand. Discerning dealers depend on the skills of expert artisans.
Time to see if all my hard work's paid off.
This time...
Gosh, now that is an interesting piece.
Leather expert Martin rescues a luxury Louis Vuitton trunk with a storied past.
I think somewhere there's a label on it which says number 11 Downing Street.
It must be one of the most precious pieces that I've worked on.
Dru tasked Gilda Ruth with the restoration of a 19th century Italian lantern.
It's got all of the things that it should have.
This is when you start to see it back to how it originally was, and that's always really satisfying.
And metalworker Ted gives a Georgian lightning vane a new lease of life.
We're going to put a big cockerel on the top. It needs to have that lift. It's absolutely out of this world.
These restorers are using all their years of craft and skill.
It's an old way of doing things. I think it brings so much to a piece.
With jaw-dropping results.
Oh, wow, Ruth.
Turning forgotten junk...
I was not expecting this!
...into sought-after treasure.
He's truly saved something for the nation.
Martin Ashworth is a master leather restorer with a reputation that brings in business from far and wide. Today, the promise of an extraordinary new project has brought him all the way from Anglsea to rural Berkshire, where he's meeting regular clients Elizabeth and Simon at their home. After a recent fire in an outbuilding, they discovered a dilapidated family heirloom when sorting through the wreckage that requires some expert attention.
Generally, I don't meet my clients. If they've asked me to come all this way, it's got to be something really special.
It's important as a piece of family history, and we'd like to pass it on. So if anybody can do anything with this, it's going to be Martin.
Gosh, now that is an interesting piece. Is this a family piece?
Yeah, it is a family piece, but for the last 70 years, it's probably been on a roof or an attic. And then we sort of rescued it after the fire we had here, and we don't think it's been open for about 70 years.
If I'm not wrong, it's Louis Vuitton.
Well, we think it is too.
Oh, wow.
It belonged to Horasu de Viru Koulu, who was my great-uncle, and he had the dubious reputation of being a practical joker. When he died, it was sent to his sister. I think somewhere there's a label on it which says number 11 Downing Street, because she was married to Neville Chamberlain.
No!
And then she left it to my father.
Gosh!
Dating back to the late 19th century, this leather Louis Vuitton travel trunk once belonged to Elizabeth's great-uncle, eccentric aristocrat Horasu de Viru Koulu. A famous prankster, he had a penchant for impersonating prominent public figures that often got him in trouble. When he died, the trunk was sent to his sister Anne, wife of the then Chancellor and later wartime Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain. The 11 Downing Street address label survived the fire and is still clearly visible. The antique luggage has travelled the world and shows many signs of wear. Pieces like this can sell for upwards of £15,000, but for Simon and Elizabeth, it's worth far more as a piece of cherished family history.
The handle has broken here.
That's really why we sort of called you in.
It's very, very delicate, isn't it? I mean, it's got the Vuitton logo on the top, so that's paramount that that stays.
Can we pick it up by the handle?
Yeah, absolutely. You should be able to use it for what it was designed for. Have you ever looked inside it?
These are papers that we found in the box when we opened it up, and I guess they've been here, well...
Do these pertain to Horace?
Yes, a lot of them are Horace's letters, and some of them are Mrs. Neville Chamberlain's letters as well.
Gosh, this is a treasure in itself, isn't it?
That's right.
So these have only come to light since the fire?
Yeah,
yes.
More or less.
Gosh, it's going to have to be treated with kid gloves. I mean, it's in a state, it's just been neglected, and it's dirty, and the brasswork is poor, the lock has been damaged, badly damaged. It's a treasure. I can't wait to get my fingers on it.
All right, well, we're looking forward to that.
It'll be a little darling.
Thank
you very much indeed.
We'll see you out.
I know he'll do a brilliant job. He always does a brilliant job. So it'll be fascinating to see the results.
After a long drive back to Anglesea, Martin can begin his work on the illustrious piece of luggage.
It must be one of the most precious pieces that I've worked on. You've got to get this right first time. You don't get any second chances.
He removes the broken lock.
There we go.
Then sets about cleaning the dry and smoke-damaged leather using a homemade cleaner conditioner containing beeswax and glycerin.
So we'll just start in the top corner here. Now we'll just start to... It will dry slightly lighter, but you can see it's gathered that warm sort of conquery colour. Look at that. That is years and years and years of grime. And they've had a fire in the premises, so the fire has obviously settled a certain amount of soot. This is the first of probably 4 or 5 coats that's going to have to go onto it one way or another.
Martin will need to apply the remaining moisturising cream gradually over a number of days to keep the leather from getting saturated.
We've given the main body a good feed. I'm just going to spin it round because we really need to get to these labels here.
To add strength to the precious paper labels, Martin uses an acrylic surface coating solution, which creates a thin barrier layer when left to dry.
It's quite a watery solution. But when it dries on the side of the pot, you get a good example of what it's going to do to the paper, because it actually dries to a clear film. And if you can imagine, when this is inside the paper, it will tie all the fibres together. So we'll just take a bit on a cloth, dip it in the end, and you dab. Just literally dab it on so that the paper soaks it up. So I'll go on to the main label now, which I would call the money label, really, at the end of the day. It's one that we can't afford to damage. What I'm trying not to do, I don't want to make this writing illegible. And that's literally all I'm going to do. Now that's soaked in enough, and it's soaked in very well. Now when that dries, everything is going to be fixed in place.
The precious Downing Street label may be preserved, but Martin has a way to go before this trunk is fit for office. On the outskirts of the ancient village of Corfe Castle in Dorset lies the workshop of Ted Edley. From copper to steel and everything in between, his mastery of metal makes him a valuable asset to any dealer. And today, Shere Khan is about to arrive with a new project.
So Shere Khan, he buys from everywhere. He buys from all over Europe, all over England, and so you never know what you're going to get. It could be anything.
You all right, Ted?
Hello, Shere Khan. How you doing?
You dropped off a package for me?
Yeah, weird thing.
It is.
Should we have a look?
You're going to love it.
Really?
You are, seriously.
Well, it's here. I'm slightly intrigued.
Right. I know it looks old and rusty, and I know
it looks old and rusty.
And I know it looks like a weather vane. It is actually a lightning vane. And it would usually be on high buildings. You know, they'd have them on steeples of churches. Instead of setting fire to the roof, this would attract the lightning, and it would disperse it.
Invented by American founding father Benjamin Franklin in 1749, a lightning vane is designed to provide a safe path for electricity to travel from the roof of a building down into the ground without causing an electrical fire. They are still found on many buildings to this day, but this example dates back to the 18th century and likely originated from France. Years of being subjected to stormy weather have caused the metal to rust, and a base is needed if it's to be displayed as a decorative piece.
What's sort of your thoughts for it?
So, don't want to lose the actual kind of aged look of it,
yep.
But it does need cleaning up because there's a lot of rust there and everything. And I think we need to do some sort of stand for it, because obviously this ain't going to go back up on a roof or on a steeple. This is either going to go into a garden, I reckon, but then again, it could also go into a house as a decorative piece.
Did you give a lot for it?
A few hundred quid, but they're very fashionable at the moment.
Right,
there was a time when people just threw these away. Now, honestly, people love them.
I think this is one of those strange items where it's going to tell me what it wants. I've got to have a conversation with a 300-year-old piece of metal and see where we're going to go. All right, mate.
All right, Ted, I'll leave that with you.
Good to see you.
Take care.
Cheerio.
With Shere Khan gone, Ted gets straight to work planning how he's going to display the lightning vane on a bespoke stand.
Now, my idea for this is to literally have it so almost like the top of a tower or a spire, just slice the top part off and then just put down. So what I want to do on the base here is create the very top part of a tower or a spire.
Ted marks out an octagon onto a piece of wood, providing a template for the design of the spire.
There we go. Last one. So that is going to be the actual base shape.
The base shape will be formed from 8 identical pieces of steel bar. Which are then arranged onto the template, ready for welding. For the uprights of the spire, Ted uses round steel bar, which he passes through a machine called a ring roller to add a gentle curve.
Do you know, that is the subtlest of bends. I reckon we'll go with that.
Once the uprights are all welded into position, it's time to see if the lightning vane sits neatly on the base.
Do you know what? That's going to look all right. Yeah, I like it. It's going to be a nice thing.
The stand is coming together, but Ted has a way to go before this lightning vane is ready for all seasons. At his studio on the Isle of Anglesea, leathersmith Martin is restoring an antique Louis Vuitton trunk, with the added pressure of knowing that it's a precious piece of his client's family history. He's cleaned and fed the leather and must now repair the broken handle if the trunk is ever to be functional again.
It's literally broken off one side completely and is virtually torn off on the other side here. Obviously, I've got to keep the original because it's got Vuitton written all over it. So I'm going to have to come up with a fix to keep the original handle anchor, but to make the handle work.
Martin cuts away the stitching on the handle anchor using a sharp blade, being careful not to mark the leather.
There you go. So we'll just gently push it through. There you go. Now, these two have to be preserved purely because of that writing on there.
The original leather is too weak to support the weight of a heavy case, so Martin has come up with a plan to bolster its strength.
This is it. It's just a thin plastic, stiff, pliable. But if I could bend it with a little bit of heat over the handle and then bond it to the original handle anchor, we should have a reinforced one that's flexible to move with the leather, but strong enough to be able to lift the whole case up.
The thin piece of plastic will take all the weight of the case and be completely hidden by the leather. Martin cuts it to size, ready to be shaped.
So I've made myself a little wooden former so that I can form the plastic over it. Literally, I'll just heat this area here. I'll use a bit of a rule, put some pressure on it. It's gone quickly enough. That bent very quickly. So, right, what we do now is bend it again that way. My trusty anvil. I just literally push that in there. Now, a little bit of heat. And we've got to do the same thing again on this side. And there we have it. Now, let's see the proof in the pudding. Made for the job, and that will still move underneath. Still got that gap enough. Perfect.
Martin secures the leather to the plastic with cobbler's glue, a modern adhesive that bonds in seconds.
You can still see now the handle will move underneath when it's fitted in place. And there we have a new handle anchor, trimmed up, coloured up, and you won't know it's there.